I'm so happy to now present the wonderful Dominica Stanisiewicz, also known as your brain coach D. So very happy to welcome you. She is a brain life coach certified by Dr. Amen and Amen University, and an elite neuro recording specialist, founder member of the Neuro Recording Institute, MS, and she has an MS of sociology, BA in education. She's a public speaker, expert featured in multiple times, and she helps you gain freedom from your past with the neuro recording method. Working with her provides them skills to say no without feeling guilty. Her clients regain happiness. They have feelings of empowerment and belonging. They live a healthier, easier life, and they're able to get rid of anxiety and depression. They get to rediscover that there's more to life than what they are living, and she is able to help bring them organic happiness, and it doesn't depend on outside circumstances that they have no control over. She has a unique holistic approach that includes the client's physical well-being, their brain health, their spiritual values, psychology, and environment. And she will share the tools that have allowed her to go from chronic depression, child loss, a feeling of not belonging, and being simply miserable with the purple on the outside, to a truly thriving and happy woman that loves life and that has decoded happiness in her DNA. So your brain coach D, she is here to bring the topic, stones into feathers, become unstoppable. And so, Coach D, I turn it to you.
It is an absolute pleasure. I am so honored to be with you all. And I know I'm not supposed to do this at the beginning, but when I was listening to Ms. Sheba, our stories are so similar, and you will see that today. And I want you guys to thrive. I want you guys to survive, but not in a survival mode, but in a thriving mode. And it will be my honor to tell you my story, how I turned these things, stones, into feathers. And to start with, I will use a little bit of presentation that I did not host disabled screen sharing. If you could enable me to share a screen, I have just a few slides that will help me in the presentation. I am an elite neuroencoding specialist. For those who attended any of Tony Robbins events and Maxwell, there's this gentleman, Joseph McElden III. He is a neuropsychologist. He opened an institute of neuroencoding, and I have the privilege to be one of them, but it's not about me. I want to see, can I share a screen now? Can I? Yes, I can. Fantastic. Okay. Share. And this is super awesome. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege, and I want to ask you, what do you prefer? Stones or feathers? And you go, what a weird title, right? Stones and feathers. What do they have to do with anything? Well, they actually do. And I'm not going to tell you yet. What I am going to do, I'm going to ask you, and I would love for you to tell me if this reflects you. So have you ever experienced any of these, or have known anybody who has experienced any of these? Put a 1 in a chat if this is true. Is any of this you or anybody else that you know? Put a 1 in a chat. Now look at the chat. Look at the chat. We have all experienced something traumatic, violence, racism, depression, anxiety, whatever it is for you. And yet you are still here. You are still here, and you are my hero because you showed up. Because you took those stones that you're carrying and came here. You are present. You are looking to change your life. Now, do you see how many ones are in there? You are heroes. So I want you to give yourself a pat on the back for not giving up. Pat yourself on the back and say, I did it. I'm awesome. Now, with your permission, I would love to tell you a story, my life story that will lead into where I want to go, because I want to give you a tool that will change your stones into feathers. Can I tell you a story? Put a 1 in the chat, please, so I know I have your permission. Fantastic, thank you. Story of my mom. I was a little girl, you know, a 6-year-old girl. My mom was traveling and I was waiting by the door. Mom, you're here. Hug, can I get a hug? Please, can I cuddle? Dominica, I'm tired. Just go away, okay? I'm tired. Later. A feeling of rejection, being unloved, hurt, unwanted set in. Isn't it interesting how just one reaction can implement this feeling of being not wanted, not cared for? That was my first stone. Then I turned 18. Life is beautiful. I get to do whatever I want, right? Finally, I get to decide about myself. And I fall in love. Butterflies, dates, beautiful time. I mean, it's amazing. Can you imagine how amazing that is? I'm in love. We move in together, and it is a life experience. He's abusive. I have a gun to my head. I get hit. I get raped on a daily basis. I'm worthless. I get pregnant. I'm 8 months old, pregnant tummy. I'm tired. I'm scared. And he wakes me up at 3 a.m., throws a glove at me, a white glove, and goes, clean, bitch. So on all my fours, I clean and I clean. I'm so not worth it, worthless. I'm just nobody. I got to do what he says, right? But I'm lucky. I'm so lucky. I could put on a bathrobe that night. I was covered. The time comes, I give birth to my son Patrick. But while I'm giving birth, I die. I die for 3 minutes. And I come back. I think that the only reason I was brought back is to save my son. Because there's no value in me. I mean, obviously, it's my fault that it rains. It's my fault that the sun shines. It's my fault he has a bad day. At the last grip, I know that this cannot be true. But the feeling of being unwanted again, being worthless, not having value, sets in again. And again, somebody from the outside creates my identity. Isn't it interesting again how people who surround us create who we are? That was my second stone. So I run. I go to the police and I go, hey, look, guys, I don't know. I don't care. But if you don't save me, I'm going to kill myself and my kid. They help me. They put me away in a safe house. Oh, they help me and protect me. And I look over my shoulder every day to make sure that the abuser isn't there. I'm 19 with a small child. And my only purpose is to serve the child, right? Because I have no value. And at 19, one of my best days is when I go to soup kitchen. And that's when I get to eat bread and veggies and meat and a soup. It's so amazing. It's a full meal. Now, don't get me wrong. My kid has everything, but it's not enough for me. He does find me, but thankfully, down the hall, there's a police officer with his wife, so I feel kind of safe. Yet the fear is there, and it grows, and it becomes part of me. One day, I get out of the shower, and I go to check on my son, taking a nap, 16 months old. I walk into the room, and I go, Patrick. He's not moving. He's blue. He's not breathing. I start giving CPR. I want to save him. I want to save my child. The ambulance is cold. The police is cold. And when his little body sets into rigor, I sing him a lullaby. Były sobie kotki dwa. I don't remember the next 2 years of my life. That was a huge stone in my backpack. Why me? It's not fair. I'm a good person. Why is this happening to me? What did I can't live like this. I want to die, but I don't want to die. I want to change my life. On top of that, I push everything away and I go, I'm good. I'm going to pretend that I am good. So I become the most masculine woman you can ever imagine. Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger can freaking learn from me. I'm just this powerhouse going in and out, working with presidents, being on TV. I'm just amazing. Am I? Seizures? I'm epileptic. People see me as a drug addict because grand mal seizure looks like an overdose. And the only thing they've seen ever on TV is an overdose. And I'm divorced now with 2 kids, twins, and I suffer in silence. I'm carrying a whole freaking mountain in my backpack. I can't run anymore. It's heavy. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I come home and cry every day. So I decide to do something about myself. I'm about 26 years old. I go to therapy, gets a little bit better, but not so much. So I hire a coach, 1 coach, 2nd coach. I start reading books like John C. Maxwell. I go into Tony Robbins events. I get another coach and I keep going and going. And I realize that I have to change because what's happening to me is my life experience. And that's not what I want because I am designed for more. No matter if you believe in God or future, whatever you believe in, I'm designed for more. This cannot be life. So I want to ask you, how many stones are you carrying? How many stones are you carrying? Because they're weighing you down. If you're about to go further faster into 2023 or wherever in your life, those stones are holding you back. They're preventing you from becoming the best version of whatever you're supposed to be. Stones are in your backpack. You're walking around every day with your past experiences and how you perceive them. So what did I do? One of the trainings I took was an elite neuroencoding specialist. And that's where I learned how to reframe things. Reframing was the key and a magic wand that took time to change those stones into feathers. Now imagine your past experiences becoming feathers. You still carry them. You still acknowledge that they were there, yet they're not weighing you down. They're just there as a reminder that they built you to become who you are today. They're not holding you back. They're building your wings, those feathers. So how do you reframe? How do you change those stones into feathers? You might say, oh no, my life was so difficult. No, I can't do it. I mean, I get it, but no, this is just some magic. It is magic. It is absolute magic. So let me tell you on the story of my son who died. Now, I could have chosen, and that's a very important word, chosen to stay in my pain and say, I'm so unhappy. Life is miserable. This is not for me. This shouldn't have happened to me. Why me? Why me? Why me? And keep going and suffer and live in suffering. And suffering is a choice. Pain is something that happens to you, but suffering is a choice. You choose to stay there. And I chose happiness, and I want that for you. I chose to remember beautiful moments that my son gave me. I chose to remember his smile. I chose to remember that he taught me how to love unconditionally, and I can now give it forward. I chose to make him my stepping stone, a future, something that gives me hope that I can connect with women who went through the same thing or any other type of trauma. I chose to reframe his death and experience to something that lifted me up. I can give you another example that came from another one of my coaches that coaches me. She goes, Dominica, I have a client. And I'm like, okay. And he's adopted. He believed at the beginning that he was given away because nobody loved him. He believed he was given away because he was worthless. He believed that he was just nobody. Now imagine, he doesn't know. He never met his parents. He's 17. It is something that he imagined and he started believing, and that defined his life. Now imagine we change that belief that he was given away because he was so precious and so worth it that his mother, or whoever was his parent, gave him away because he deserved the best. He was so precious and important that she and he want to give him a chance. Imagine if he would go through life believing that he's so important and so crucial, and he has so many great things to do, that somebody chose to put themselves aside so he can have a better life, that he's so precious. How would his life experience actually change? How would he see his life if he would believe that he's so precious that he was given away so he can have a better chance in life? So reframing is a choice. You reframe your experiences, and guess what? What's good and bad, it's always available. You choose what you believe. You choose how you see your past life, and if it's going to lift you up and make you a better person, somebody who thrives, or, well, you'll just stay there and be weighed down. There's no way you can fly with those stones. So the magic wand of reframing and changing those stones into feathers is reframing your past. I've managed to change my backpack into full of feathers. And don't get me wrong, once in a while, I get a stone. And that stone now gets reframed. I look at it, I look inside of me, and I go, what value did that bring to my life? I'm not dismissing the pain. I'm not dismissing the hurt. I acknowledge it and I feel it, and then I reframe it into something that can serve you. Do you think this tool of reframing could be useful to you? Put a 1 in the chat. Do you think this could help you change your life and fly and become a better you? Somebody who has dreams and hopes and is not looking back. If so, I will be very happy to help you reframe your stones into feathers. I have a few more things, because the science of coaching that I do and brain training and everything I tell you besides the spiritual part has also a part of science. I want you to look at these SPECT scans. These are pictures of your brain. One is a healthy brain. The other one is fearful. When you move into fear and pain and anxiety, your brain stops receiving oxygen. And this is what you see on the second picture. It's science. You can't think as well when you're stressed and fearful. Letting go of those stones is allowing your brain to function properly, allowing your CEO of your life in this present moment to become much more efficient and guide you outside of your spiritual life. See, the other picture is the overreacting of your brain. If your brain is overworked, it's not going to support you. Everything is connected. We're not separated. Our spiritual life is not separated from our body. Our body is not separated from our brain and our heart and our feelings. One of the most important things in reframing that led me to be almost grateful for the best tool I ever heard is something that I learned from Joseph McElwain III. Is what you think is what you feel. What you feel is what you do. And what you do is what you have. And that process goes backwards. So if you don't want to have what you have, change what you think. And that happens in your brain. And that triggers what you feel. That triggers what you do. And that triggers what you have. But this works the other way around. You can change your life. You can change those stones into feathers. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure. And I hope that feathers will be the dominant part of 2023 and rest of your life.